Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is Colman Murphy with the Smartcat team. And today we are really keen to connect with you and talk about Smartcat's website translator. And not just website translator, but all of the tools available to you as a web developer or content manager, localization manager, whatever your role might be. We think you're going to find today's webinar pretty informative. I'm Colman. I work in marketing here at Smartcat, and I'm going to be co-presenting today with Igor from our product development team. So a few little moments of housekeeping. We're just going to wait for more people to join. If you could make sure that you keep your audio on mute, that would be great. Feel free to turn on your camera or not if that's supported. I'm not sure. If you have questions, you can submit them at any time, but please use the Q&A option. We're trying to keep chat just for transactional comments, but the good thing about putting them in Q&A is those get into a log. And if we don't get to answer them today, we'll have that full history of all of those questions asked, and we will answer them after the event in text format. So I'm just going to give it one more minute, and then we can get started. I see we've got quite a few people on the line already, so I think we're going to get off to a timely start, which will give more time to talk about the product and especially hear from you and get your questions and answers. And again, if you just joined us, we're just waiting for a few more people to join and then we'll get going. I'm Colman. I'm going to be co-presenting with Igor from our product team today. And please keep your audio on mute. If you have questions, submit them at any time through the Q&A panel. Great. Well, I'm just going to get started. We do have a pretty full agenda. So if you were late to this show, you missed that amazing intro, but everything is being recorded and will be shared after the webinar as well. So if you didn't make it to this, or if you want to share this with anybody else, you will get the link to the recording right after the session, along with the Q&A. All right, so our agenda today, there are big questions we know people have about website translation. So first of all, we're going to start off with the questions. Then we're going to jump into the answers. Hopefully we'll also answer some of the questions as we go, but the main part of the answers is going to be led by Igor, where we talk about generally what Smartcat has to offer for website translation in a few different modalities, and then specifically get into website translator. And then finally, we're trying to make as much time as possible for you to ask questions. So we've got a big Q&A section built into the end. Again, as I said, you can submit questions at any time using the Q&A button, and then we'll run through those at the end. All right, so let's get going with part one, the questions. Two big questions people ask: why does website translation matter? And how much is enough? How much website translation is enough? And that second one is, it's hard to put a number on it specifically, but we'll go into some of the key considerations that you need to take into account when you do get into making decisions about your own website and what parts of it or how many languages should you translate into. All right, so why are we here? This is not an existential question about the meaning of life, although you could interpret it that way. But it's really the question that you're asking people when they come to your website. You want to know, why are they there? The reality is people come to a website for two primary reasons. They want to learn and explore, to learn about your company, to learn about products and services that you offer, or maybe to learn about a topic or a category. Like on the left, maybe people want to know about independent chocolatiers in Brooklyn, like going to Jacques Torres's site. Or maybe you've seen him on Nailed It, which is a crazy reality TV cooking show if you ever want to watch it. The second reason people come to your website is to transact business. This could be lighthearted, like shopping for Jack Torres chocolates, or it could be something really critical and maybe life-changing, like searching for an oncologist through your healthcare provider. There is one common characteristic in all website traffic though, and that is visitors themselves, they know a lot more about what their language needs are than you will ever know right at that first initial moment when they come to your site. And that's a really big deal because communication matters to website visitors a lot. This is a screen capture from CSA Research's Can't Read, Won't Buy survey, where they survey over 4,000 B2B or B2C website visitors. And the most significant statistic is this one in the bottom right. 40% of people said they would not buy goods or services from a provider if the information they need is not available in their preferred language. 40%, that's a huge number. And what that means is you're basically missing out on 40% of the potential business. Now, if you turn that around, you can put a very positive spin on it. If you're trying to grow your business and increase engagement, and it can be within a specific community or it could be around the world, but there's an immediate opportunity here. You could grow your business significantly just by translating your website. So that's one of the key takeaways that we hope you will bring back with you and share internally when you talk about this with other people in your organization. It's a huge untapped potential that can be unleashed just by translating. So now that we've established why it's important to translate website content, the next question is how much translation do you need? And as with so many things, the answer is always, it depends. But let's just think about the internet and websites as a microcosm for a moment. So the internet is very, very different from just about any other kind of engagement activity, whether it's mail or in person. And it's different in two key ways. One, anybody has access to it. Anybody anywhere around the world can access your website. The second thing is the internet specifically evolved as an English first platform for information sharing. And most people have kind of become used to it being that way. In fact, there's almost an assumption that English is good enough, or any website is good enough if it's English plus a second language or a second language plus English. But that just doesn't reflect reality. Like, English is certainly the most commonly spoken language around the world. But if we look at the actual language fluency, that number drops off significantly. So English as a first language is far behind Chinese, Spanish, and Hindi, for example. And even if we look within a specific geo, we can see a huge variance in English competency. So this middle chart shows language fluency in the US. Across the US in general, 13.1% of households speak Spanish, for example, or what is that? That's almost 40 million people. Within that microcosm, a significant portion, 44% of them do not, or 42% do not consider that they speak English very well. And when we get more geographically dense, so if this, within the US, the percentage is 13.1% of households. In California, that number jumps to 28%. In one county within California, Fresno County, the number jumps to 35%. So you can make decisions about what languages you present your website in, but it is so dependent on these other dynamics, like to what extent does everybody need to be able to access your website in their first or chosen language? And that's the area where you can, you have to make decisions as a web developer. You don't get to do all languages for everybody, although we have a theory on that as well that we're going to present in the next slide. But if you make the decision to not support a specific language, and business requires that we make decisions every day, but just be aware that when you make that decision to not support a specific language, you're making a decision to cut out that 40% that we mentioned on the previous slide, the 40% of people who will never buy from a website that is not in their preferred language. And that's even if they do speak English. If my preferred language is Spanish or Haiti or Korean or Vietnamese, I'm probably not going to buy from your website. And it doesn't have to be that way. That is one of the things that we really want to reinforce today. This model of I can't translate my website into all of these languages is fundamentally, it's a legacy mindset, and it's built around scarcity and control. So we really want to encourage people today to think about what does that actually mean and how can you shift it? What's the scarcity and control mindset? What's scarce? What are we controlling? It's primarily resources, whether that's human or funding. And that applies whether it's a web team or a translation team or even a regional sales organization. Everybody, there's just not enough money, there's not enough people. So you're always forced to make decisions. You translate a few pages on your website, you minimize the number of languages that you translate the website into, you serialize translation of web pages. So you do a few pages, you do a few pages in the next language, and then you come back. So there's long lead times associated with it. And the other thing is there are most common, or that we see with website translation, is infrequent updates. So you translate it, you say, I'm done, and then it kind of switches back to that English first model, and people tend to forget about these other languages. But what if, just for a moment, what if we consider that you could translate or make any page in any language available to your website visitors right now, and you could have that continuously updated? So with that mindset, if you think of this mindset of abundance and openness, where there's no limitations on how many pages or how many languages you can support for your visitors, that shifts the dynamic in two key ways, actually. The first way is obviously from a consumer and end user perspective, it opens up that additional 40% of consumers that we mentioned earlier. So that immediately increases your market reach and your market opportunity and potential for conversion. But the other thing is, for you as an organization, it helps you realign your internal resources. So instead of feeling like your website team is going to be tied up doing a translation project, they can be focused on website optimization or page redesign or adding new capabilities or new products. If you're a sales organization, you can focus on selling instead of trying to translate pages manually one by one and getting everybody to align behind a project that's built around translation. So in effect, what this mindset shift does is it helps you to shift from thinking about resource optimization to business optimization. And that is where we get to Smartcat and Smartcat Website Translator, which really does enable this mindset shift because it actually allows you to do that. So I'm going to hand it over to Igor at this point, and he's going to walk you through how that in fact happens.
Hi, everyone. So first of all, we'll talk a bit more about what Smartcat is as a platform, just to give you a very high level picture. And then we will be obviously doing the main part of the presentation, which is the demo of our website translation technology or website translator. And then there'll be some options, some conclusions around that, and then we'll go into the Q&A section. And Colman, if you can go to the next slide, please. All right, thank you. So Smartcat, what we call Smartcat, is a language delivery platform. And what that means is that we offer a suite of tools and capabilities for you to be able to translate pretty much anything from documents to websites. What this includes is like a native support for quality automatic translation, which includes machine translation from all of the major machine translation providers like Google, Amazon, DeepL, Baidu, Yandex, etc. We also offer a rich online editing experience, the CAT editor, that allows you to collaborate with different people, invite people to work and review your translations. We also offer like a full set of tools for professional translation management. So Smartcat is a TMS as well. And one of the key differentiators if you are thinking that Smartcat is like translation translation management system, is that we also have a very strong marketplace component. So we have lots of freelancers and lots of language companies on the platform who are ready to work on your translation projects. And this doesn't only include an ability to invite people to work on your project, but also Smartcat will handle all of the contracting, billing, and accounting chores. So regardless of how many people you invite, you can easily work with many suppliers as if you're working with large like multilingual provider. So a single bill from Smartcat to you means that Smartcat then will disperse all of the payments in different currencies and different types for freelancers for the actual jobs that they did. Next slide, please. So what do we have when we talk about Smartcat as a language delivery platform? What we mean is that we want to make it as easy as possible for you to connect to various content sources and translate those. And we have quite a bunch of different connectors or integrations with various CMS systems, product information systems, etc. When it comes to website translation, what you will find in our portfolio is dedicated connectors for WordPress, for Drupal, Contentful. If you are localizing some visual content, you might find useful to use our Figma connector as well to provide proper localized experience when it comes to images. But these are specific connectors working with specific systems. What we wanted to build and what Website Translator is about is a universal solution that provides a layer on top of any website building technology and gives you the easiest way to localize your website. So you can translate any page in any language, and you will get this like the proper mix of high quality automatic translation that includes machine translation and reuses your translation memories. And on top of that, you can layer human review and human editing. So this allows you to really be flexible in what you're translating and how you're quickly delivering your localized experience to your clients, to your website visitors. And at the same time, you can control your budget and put your money where it matters most. So with that, I will probably share my screen and start the demo of our website translator. By the way, any questions so far? Anything in the chat?
Actually, there is a question in the Q&A section.
Okay, do you have plans to develop an integration for Bittrex CMS? We actually have an integration with Bittrex, so you may want to check it out and well, let us know if that works for you. And regardless of Bittrex and other CMSs, Website Translator might be also an option to start with because we believe that it works with Bittrex-based CMSs as well. All right, let's jump into the demo. So I assume you can see my screen already. What we'll be demonstrating today, we'll start with Webflow, and I'll zoom in a little bit. We'll use Webflow just as an example of a website builder, something that is really popular among people worldwide to quickly build different websites. And besides building an like single language website, we want to show how to use Website Translator to build a multilingual one. So I start with template, and this is how it looks like. It's basically a free template from Webflow with all of the content that is available there. So we're not changing anything there, and we'll be translating this website using Website Translator. So I'll copy the URL and open translator.smartcat.com. This is the home page of our application. this is where you start your journey into multilingual websites, if I may say that. So I will be translating this website from English into Spanish. And all I need is to provide the URL, source and target language, and click the continue button. What we'll be doing here is we'll be instantly giving you a preview of how that site looks like in Spanish language. So now you can immediately see, even without installing anything, like within seconds, you can preview if that technology works for your particular website. Now, if that looks good, we'll continue and just use that in our as a real project inside Smartcat. So here you are signing into Smartcat. I already have some accounts here. I will use this test one, and I will be with this. I will be creating a proper project within Smartcat that will allow me to translate my website. Now, again, we will be applying translations here, but now since I'm already signed into my my account, now it's not only that we'll be using machine translation. We'll be, first of all, we'll be trying to reuse translation memories from this account so that translations can be of a much higher quality. So I like what I see, and first of all, what you can see here is language selector. This is what you will see, and your website visitors will also see when they go to your website. This is how website translator exposes itself to the outer world. Now, based on that, I can go, so I can easily browse my website. I already translated this page into Spanish, and I want to, for example, go and translate another page. Right now, what you're seeing is a manual process. So you are deliberately saying that you want to translate that page into that language. But later on, I will also show you how to just like blank enable your like website translation for all of the languages. Now we can see this page, and I'm just scrolling and looking into translations, and everything looks pretty good, but I just see that there are a couple of names here that have incorrect capitalization. So I want to change that. One great thing about website translator as compared to Google Translate widget, for example, is that as you start with automatic translation, it doesn't have to stop there. You have full control of the content of the localized website, and you can translate that easily and change all of the content easily. So I'll go and click edit. What we will do here, we will gather the current translations and we'll present them in website cat editor. So you will see those segments that are available for translation. Now I'll search for that particular string, and I will change that to a more correct version of the translation. Now I'm done, and when I close my editor, we will again reassemble the page, and we'll show that edit in the context of the web page, so you can preview what you have before publishing this. And if I scroll back here, I'll scroll down here, I will see that my changes were applied. So of course, there will be many changes, like if you are working on the actual site and you want to like really tweak some things before publishing, but for the sake of the demo, this is the only change that I'll be doing on this page. Now I want to have it published. What I'm doing next is I'm hitting the publish button. Now, website translator then tries to understand if your website is ready to be to offer multilingual translations. So it checks if that special script tied to this translation project has been installed on your website. Now it detects that there's no such a script, and we're offering you to install that single line of JavaScript code into your website. So we'll be doing this right away. I'm copying the code and I'm going back into Webflow. And then I open its settings here. Again, Depending on your technology, you'll be using different means of providing this custom code in the header. Webflow just allows you to allows us to quickly demonstrate how that would look like. So they offer you a nice UI to provide any custom code here. And I don't know why this doesn't work, but it doesn't click. Maybe because I'm presenting screen. Hold on. Okay. So I'm pasting this just single line of code and saving the changes. And once I'm done, I want to hit publish to make those changes live on the website. So this will take a few seconds. And after that, we will go back into Smartcat website translator and continue publishing the actual translations. So verify that the setup is correct. So again, it takes a few seconds. Now it's published, and that script should be available for any website visitor who goes to this website. Now, if we go back to our UI, we can say validate and continue. And now we should be detecting this script and then continue with publishing the actual translations. All right, yeah, you can see that we say page published, and then we can go to our website and just reload that. And what you'll see here down in the right bottom corner, oh, you should be seeing that. Let me click publish once again. Oh, hold on. I was publishing this about page, not the first one. Let me try it once again. Yes. So now I can see that this page, since it was published, it's available in Spanish. And here we are providing you a link. It's a language selector that allows you to easily switch between English and Spanish version. Now, this content, what we're doing when we're publishing this content, we are pushing that into Content Delivery Network, or CDN, meaning that your website visitors will be downloading our magical script, will download the translations for that page from the nearest location geographically. So they are served as quickly as possible. And if we load the page, again, you can see that you are just seeing the translated page. So you're not seeing English first, then doing like the translation on the fly, and then seeing the Spanish version. You just see, your visitors will see the final result real quick. Now, this is how publishing works. Now, what if I want to add some new language? Let's do that. So if we go into Website Translator, we can select another language, for example, French. And then again, enable translation. So start translation means we want to do automatic translation and preview how things work. And now we have the web page, this web page translated into French. Again, if that looks good, we can publish the results. And with that, we should be reflecting those changes on the target website. So let's wait till this is published and it's done. And if I go here, and again, I click reload to pick up those changes, yeah, we should be seeing that we now have 3 language options available. Now, if your website visitors have French as a preferred language, they will be immediately switching to the French version of that web page. So for you, it's really easy to publish those pages one by one, or enable like fully automatic translation experience. And I will demonstrate it right away. So when in Smartcat, in website translator, like a preview mode, you can open this like the settings dialog. And you have multiple options to choose from in terms of how you want your website to be translated. What I showed before was this fully manual mode. So you are, as a manager, go to a specific page, switch the language that you need, and you say, I want to have that translated. So you're controlling exactly the number of pages that need to be multilingual. But now I want to switch to the next option, which is I just want to offer blanket translation for my website to all of my visitors. So I'll apply this change and click Save. And with that, I will need to publish that change so that that JavaScript code that we injected into the website will detect those changes. Now let's do it once again. I'll just reload the page. And we can try to go to some other page that was not previously translated. So what this will mean, for the first visitor who goes into that page and they have French as their preferred language, we will be automatically on the translating that page on the fly and saving the results of the translation again in CDN. So the next visitor who will be going to that page, they will immediately see a French experience, fully translated experience. So in that sense, you'll be automatically translating the pages into languages that matter to your website visitors. The only thing you need to do from the management perspective in that particular mode is that you want to enable the set of languages that you want to have your website exposed into. And you'll basically let your visitors do the rest. So they will go into website pages, into specific pages from the home page, or directly going to other pages that you link to, and they will be seeing this experience. We will be remembering this change for people, for users. So if they want to switch to another language and then continue working with your website in that language, again, we'll be offering just that. And then, for example, if somebody wants to switch to English and continue browsing the website, we will be continuing offering the English experience. So this is as easy as adding one single line of JavaScript code into your website and then deciding what to do, like going with full automated experience, fully manual experience, or something in between. With Website Translator, if you close that page, close that preview, and go back to your project, you can see that the pages that you allowed for editing, so you press the edit button, they will be available for as regular documents. They will be available for review. You can assign your own linguists. You can invite people from the marketplace. So everything, all of the tools that are available for document translation will also be available in the context of Website Translator project. Now, going back to our slides, kind of like the conclusion and the last slide that I want to present here is this one. Sorry, wrong button. So what I just want to say, kind of like closing this demo, is that you have a range of options when it comes to how to approach your website translation. You can start with 100% manual approach, which means you fully control which languages you expose your website into and what particular pages you want to translate. So, and before publishing them, you can invite your linguists or linguists from our marketplace to fully review that content, and only then publish this content. This is ideal for like highly important marketing content, high risk content, like legal documents, terms of services, etc. And it offers you the highest quality. Is of course when you are adding human review into the mix, it's the most expensive one. But that's something that some of the people prefer, or at least for some part of the content. Now you can go to like 100% automatic mode. If you have high volume website that you just want to offer for your website for your visitors to be available in their languages so they can understand what's going on, like technical documentation, etc., you can easily go with this 100% automatic mode. And that gives you still high quality because we will be reusing translation memories and quality machine translation engines, but it's fastest time to market and it's least expensive. Now, the beauty of the approach is that you can really mix them together and have 100% automatic translation as a base layer for your entire website, but then knowing where your traffic flows, for example, or what languages are the most important or what pages are like the most critical. This is where you can add some manual review, mark those pages as editable. They will appear in your website translator project in Smartcat. You can invite people to review them, and this is where you will be putting your translation money. So this allows you to really optimize and balance time to market versus translation costs. And we built our website translator with this kind of like mixed paradigm in mind, where you can have automatic translation and manual review at the level that is comfortable for you. Thank you all, and I think we are in the QA session block.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of questions queued up, so I can bring those up, or if you want to bring them up and read them out and then answer them. Also, if you just roll forward to the next slide at the same time, people can get the URL of where they can do this themselves. Okay, I'll read some questions. So the first question is from Yulia. How do you foresee if the translated text does not fit? For example, if we're thinking about German language, the words are often much longer than English. That's an excellent question. That is applicable not only for websites, but for applications like real apps, mobile, desktop, etc. Luckily for website technology, usually it works like in most cases out of the box. Of course, when you are using some template, if you are designing your website, you need to check how this looks in other languages. And Website Translator actually gives you, like, it is a perfect QA tool for that purpose, even without adding any layer of like internationalization. You can easily use Website Translator as a preview tool to see how your page looks like in a different language. So you would be adjusting or providing layouts and components, buttons like text blocks in a way that allow for the text to grow and to accommodate for longer strings. So that's the general approach. Here we are just like helping you and providing you the tool that allows you to quickly test your website in multiple languages. So how have I answered this one? The next one is also from Yulia. How is responsibility for translation handled? For example, can in-country teams do it all themselves? How much do they need to interact with web development team? I think the beauty of this approach is that integration itself is as easy as adding one single line of JavaScript code. And sometimes you do have to ask developers for that. But as I demonstrated, for example, with Webflow, you don't even have to ask developers in that particular case, because you as a manager can do this yourself through the easy to use UI. So once that's done, you can enable, like quickly enable this like multilingual mode that is offered by Website Translator. And now within Smartcat, you can mark certain pages as editable and then assign them to different language teams. Smartcat doesn't have a number of, like, doesn't limit the number of seats that should be in your account. So your subscription levels are mostly tied to the consumption of automatic translation. But you can bring as many people from your like in-country teams as you want and have them go into Website Translator, review those pages by themselves, or just you as a manager who's managing like the entire localization of the entire website, just assign certain languages to certain people that you invite to the platform. So it's really flexible in how you can slice and dice your needs and your translation needs into multiple teams or multiple people.
Another question is from Kirill. Do we have a chance that the translation will break the layout? And if yes, what should we do? I mean, CSS settings. Well, it is basically the same question that I answered before. That layout has to accommodate longer strings. You can easily preview and see what exactly you need to do. In terms of CSS settings, it really depends on the technology that you're using to build your websites. Just try to not to create fixed layouts, like fixed width or fixed length layouts. Whenever you're like the simplest, I would say, example would be if you are creating a button and you are giving it just enough space to accommodate for English text, and it's not, it cannot grow to like 2 lines, for example, or cannot be expanded horizontally, then you probably will have problems with some languages. So just try to use some of the best practices, and I believe there are lots of like material on the internet about like how to make your website multilingual, how to make fluid layouts. So this will really help. Again, like for anybody who has any questions, feel free to reach out to us, and you see our emails on the screen. Feel free to reach out to us afterwards, share your website URL. We will see if there are any issues that we find. We will provide some recommendations for you. So really like talk on your specific case and decide what to do next. Another question is from John. User gets language based on his browser language. Yes, so we will be detecting browser preferred language, and we'll be automatically redirecting them to that language if the page is already available in this language. Does make sense? We also have a mode in a website translator where people have to explicitly pick their language. I don't know if like these are similar, like it's still automatic translation, but somebody has to explicitly select that language before it gets translated. So that would be an option for you as well. Another question is from Yulia. Well, lots of questions from Yulia today. How to hire a linguist for post editing here? I didn't see the button leading to the marketplace in the interface. So this is available. This is more of a general question of how to use Smartcat. All right. So when you are pressing the edit button, what we're doing is we're creating a document in a project inside Smartcat. Now, within the project UI, there are options for you to go into tasks, see what is not translated yet, and then from there, like use the assignments. We will be also offering, if you go to the project overview, we are also offering you some of the marketplace translators, so you can pick them without like having to look for it for specific people. Again, if any of our attendees need any help in actually understanding how this ties into entire like Smartcat and like paradigm of working with different vendors, with different providers, with your team, with projects, etc., we can set up a demo call where we'll be going like in deeper details about Smartcat as a platform in general. John asks, can you select which machine translation? Sorry, this is jumping for me. Can you select which machine translation to use on automatic page translation, Google or others? So yes, when we are doing the automatic translation, we're using a so-called translation profile within Smartcat. And from there, you can select the machine translation engine for it to use. And we have some plans also to do some more flexible kind of routing. We already have this in regular Smartcat projects. For example, if you are translating your website from English into Spanish, French, and Finnish, we automatically pick the best machine translation option for you for each language pair. And that's something that will be available for Website Translator in the near future as well. So Stephanie asks, does it also work with Scorm files opening in a separate window out of a learning management system. I don't know exactly what Scorm files are, but as I understand it, is your LMS allows you to kind of like preview your course in a browser. If that's published as a web page that is available for a general visitor without them having to sign in, it might work with that as well. We will need to double check though. And if it's like password protected, if it's only available for you as a manager, I don't know how your LMS specifically works, then probably it won't work right out of the box with Website Translator. But if you can give us an example, like just send us an email, share a link, and we'll try and then see if that will be supported. For LMS specifically, and we're going from Website Translator discussion to like general discussion of Smartcat capabilities, we do have a way to work with files provided by LMS, like Hexley files, etc. So in certain cases, easier to export content from LMS, import that as a document into Smartcat, translate that, and get that back into your LMS, and it will work just fine. John asks, is there a standard glossary available for some specific words in selected language? So when you are creating an account in Smartcat, you're starting from scratch in terms of translation memories and glossaries. However, if you have some glossaries, you can upload them into Smartcat. We do not offer any like shared global glossary, if you will. But as a part of the for example, as a part of our enterprise subscription, we do offer our customers some help with migrating their data, getting the like proper glossary terms, extracting them from their materials, like using translation memories, etc. So if you have some of the content translated and you're like caring about specific terms, we can help you set up your project in the best possible way. Next question, I think it's the last one, also from John. Does automatic translation translate also invisible text like image titles and image alt? Yes, I believe we do offer that already. I know that we wanted also to translate some other things like meta description, something that is needed for SEO. But I believe that image titles and alt attributes are already supported. All right, any other questions? No, so Colman, maybe back to you if you have some closing words.
Yeah, cool, thank you. Thanks everybody for sticking with us. I see everybody is still here, so that is great. Hopefully you found this entertaining, engaging, informative. We think the best thing that you can possibly do though is try this out for yourself. It really is super, super simple. So if you go to translator.smartcat.com, play around with the tool. Smartcat uses this model of smart words, which is basically a bank of words that are available to you to use in translation, and any user has a library or an allocation of smart words, even if you're not a paying customer. So you can use those to translate pages. We're also interested in getting feedback, and we're happy to work with you as you do translate your website and play around with the tool. And most of all, thank you again for joining us, and we'll share this recording. Hopefully we'll get it out later today, as well as the list of questions and answers. And we look forward to staying in touch with you guys and watching your progress with the tool. So thanks. Have a good day.
Thanks, everyone.